For off-site activities or for repeated high-risk activities, it might be appropriate to do a more in-depth risk assessment prior to starting work. The Take 5 risk assessment is designed to take 5 minutes and should help you to identify and assess the risks that you're dealing with, as well as to come up with suitable risk reduction treatments. The Take 5 has been designed for use by tradespeople or other businesses who go to different sites on a regular basis, but it will be useful for any business type with some slight modifications. There are links to 2 downloadable Take 5 forms below. The first one is a Google Docs file which you can download and print. There's also a very handy Google Forms version which you can fill in on your mobile device, assuming that you're within cell phone service area. But both versions have the same content and follow the same intuitive process to fill in. The big advantage of the Google Forms version though is that every time you fill in a new Take 5, the input is automatically saved to a spreadsheet, making reviewing your risk assessments very straightforward and effective. We'll take a look at the Google Forms version and get this set up on your mobile device so that you're always ready to do a Take 5 risk assessment. So first of all, click on the link to the Google Forms Take 5 down here. That's this eForms Take 5 button. It looks a little bit different than the previous downloads that we've done, but we're just going to make a copy again. So click on that Make a Copy button and it should open up an editable version of the Take 5 form, which looks like this. So again, first thing we're going to do is change the name of this so it doesn't say copy anymore. We'll just call it Take 5 and we'll save that in that safety folder, or actually why don't we put a Take 5 folder within that safety folder and we'll move it there. So within this editable form, you can change the appearance of this form if you want to. There's a customize theme button here. So you can change the look of this header, the theme color, the background, and the font if you really want to. You can change some of these questions if you'd like to. I suggest it's probably a good idea to just leave them as they are for now and test it out a few times before you decide to make any of those sorts of changes. So you can send a live copy of this form either to yourself or to your staff members, and that way they can access and use this form. Also from this edit screen, you can preview what the form actually looks like by clicking on this eye icon at the top here. So that's what the actual form looks like. It looks very similar to this on a mobile device, so why don't we just go through this and see what it looks like to fill out a Take 5 form. Let's say the task we're going to be doing here, we're going to be doing a residential site visit. The name of the staff, that's just me. Location, I'm going to number 1 Home Street. And the date, we'll just give it today's date. Stop, look around and think. That's what this is all about really, is to stop, look around and find out if there are any hazards or unexpected hazards. So is the site as described or expected? Yes it is, it's just a residential site. Does a colleague know my expected return time? Yes they do. Do I have the required skills and knowledge? I believe so. Do I have the required PPE? Well, I've got my high vis on and I've got my steel toe caps on, so I think I'm good in that regard. Do I have an effective means of emergency communication? Well, I've got my cell phone, so yes, I believe I do. So we'll go on to the next page. So look for hazards. We're going to be looking around here for any hazards that could cause harm to myself or to anybody else on the site. So we've got a checklist which can help you to identify certain items. Oh, and what's that? I can hear a dog barking. So right off the bat, we can click that one. Animals, that could be a potential hazard. So let's have a quick look down this list. I don't really see any of these additional hazards on the site. So let's just move on to the next page. So
I've identified that there's a dog on the site. So the risk here is getting bitten by that dog. My current risk controls, really all I can do is keep my distance from this dog, and maybe use some caution. So let's do a risk assessment of what could happen here. So are we looking at a first aid or potentially even a medical treatment injury? If I got mauled badly by a dog, that could be a need for a hospital visit. I'd say it's fairly unlikely that that's going to happen, really. So I'll probably give that a number 6. So we've got a drop down here. We'll go for a level 6 risk, which is moderate. So it says here, if the risk score is 6 or higher, select additional risk controls using the hierarchy of controls. So can I eliminate this dog? Well, no, because it doesn't belong to me and I'm at somebody else's house. Substitute, that doesn't really work here. Can I engineer a solution? Well, I don't think I can really do that either. So I'm looking at administrative controls here. I could ask the owner to put the dog on a lead, and that would seem fairly sensible. So let's see. So I'm using caution, and I'm going to put some distance between myself and this dog, and I'm actually going to ask the owner to put a dog on the lead. I'm going to reassess this situation. Really, I think I've brought the likelihood of that happening down to practically impossible. If the dog's on a lead, this is really not going to happen. So we're looking at more of a low level risk now, level 3. So have we controlled all the site hazards, and is everyone present happy to do the job? Yeah, I believe that I am. So we'll submit that form, and there we go. Go ahead and do the task. So we'll just click here, submit another response. I'm not going to do another one right now, but if you click on this edit button at the top here, we'll get back to the edit form that we looked at previously. So if you click on the responses tab at the top here, you'll see there's a summary of these responses. Now there's only been one response, but it's going to be much more useful for you over time when you have more than one response to view these responses in a spreadsheet. So this button here, create spreadsheet. If you just click on that, it's going to create a spreadsheet for you called Take 5 Responses. We'll create that, and it'll save it in the same location as your Take 5 form. So it'll be in that safety /Take 5 folder. That's what it looks like on a desktop. It looks fairly similar on a mobile device, but let's have a look at how we can actually put this straight onto your mobile device. First thing we're going to do from this point is to email it to yourself or to your staff members. So I'll email it to myself here. Off it goes. So on an Android device like this one, fairly simple. Let's have a look at my email. There we go, there's the email I'm looking for. So fill out the form. Now once it's loaded up here, I can see these 3 dots at the top of the page, gives you more options. So I'll click those, add to home screen. We've got an option here to add this to the home screen. So we'll touch that. You can click on the icon directly and put it wherever you want it. I'm going to put it right in the middle of my home page. And there we go, it's always there, ready for when you need to do a Take 5 risk assessment. It's going to be a very similar process to put this on your home screen on an Apple device, so I won't waste any more time showing you that. Over time, you might decide that you want to customize the Take 5 form to make it more relevant to your actual work situation. But for now, just try and use it as much as you can. Whenever you find yourself in a new location or doing a potentially hazardous activity, get the Take 5 form up on your mobile device or use the paper form and take 5 minutes to assess your situation. This quick risk assessment will drastically reduce the risk of an accident at work, and you'll have documented proof that you did a risk assessment.